Overnight, the global picture is being shaped by escalating conflict in the Middle East and its knock-on effects for energy markets and the wider economy. Iran has named Mujtaba Khamenei as its new supreme leader, a succession widely read as continuity for hardline rule. Fighting has intensified across the region, with reports of heavy Israeli strikes in Lebanon and continued U.S.-Israeli operations linked to Iran. There are also growing concerns about environmental and public health impacts from strikes on Iranian targets, with experts warning that rainfall downwind could carry a mix of acidic and other harmful pollutants. Energy security remains the immediate economic transmission channel. G7 finance ministers say they stand ready to take necessary measures to support energy supplies, including the option of releasing emergency oil reserves. After a sharp spike that briefly pushed benchmark prices well above the $100 mark, oil has eased back below $100, but volatility remains high and markets are still pricing in ongoing risk around Gulf shipping routes. France says it is preparing a defensive mission to escort ships in the Strait of Hormuz once conditions allow, signaling how seriously governments are treating the threat to global trade flows. In a separate international development with an Australian angle, U.S. President Donald Trump has intervened in the case of Iranian women footballers seeking asylum, publicly urging Australia to grant protection. Reporting indicates Trump has also spoken directly with Prime Minister Anthony Albanese as the situation unfolds. Turning to Australia, the Middle East conflict is now producing visible domestic impacts. In Western Australia, some regional petrol stations have begun rationing fuel, restricting sales to emergency services only, as supply disruptions and price pressures flow through. This is a clear, immediate cost of living and logistics issue, and it will be closely watched for broader effects on freight, agriculture, and regional service delivery if rationing spreads. On federal politics and social cohesion, Labour MP Josh Burns has warned that linking the Israeli government to anti-Semitism is dangerous, while also acknowledging the government has not always moved fast enough in responding to anti-Semitism. The comments come amid heightened sensitivity following the Bundy attack and ongoing debate about how public institutions, including the Australian Public Service, manage community safety, social cohesion, and misinformation risks in a more polarized environment. In public health and technology, there are two notable developments. New analysis indicates Australia's deadliest cancer is no longer lung cancer, with a fast-growing group of cancers now the biggest killer, sharpening the focus on screening, prevention, and health system capacity. Separately, reporting highlights a potential 5-minute test that could help fast-track endometriosis diagnosis, a condition affecting around 1 in 7 women and often taking years to confirm. These are the kinds of changes that can drive near-term policy attention and longer-term health spending priorities. On markets and the technological revolution, the key driver remains energy prices rather than a single company story, but consumer tech continues to push upgrade cycles, with commentary that Apple's latest iPhone positioning is aimed at people holding older devices. The broader AI story today is less about a single product release and more about the innovation pipeline. New analysis on how breakthroughs happen emphasizes the mix of tinkering, teamwork, and trade, a useful frame as governments weigh productivity, skills, and regulation. Finally, locally, recovery efforts are underway in Katherine after near-record river rises, with volunteers mobilizing as residents assess flood damage. In New South Wales, police have announced a $250,000 reward to locate an accused triple murderer last seen in January, a significant operational development for regional law enforcement. Internationally, Swiss prosecutors have expanded a fatal ski resort fire investigation to include the local mayor, underscoring accountability pressures after major disasters.